Hi friends, this is NJ, host on this channel. So we are going to discuss a new concept today, which is the big triangle. You know, this topic is not very long, very lengthy, which is going to last in couple of videos. We are just going to wrap up this video in this one standalone discussion only. And as you people know, when it comes to triangle, any point of time you will find the symbol of triangle anywhere on your palm. It just tells about 2-3 things. First, triangle is a very good sign for the intellectual pursuits. Triangle just tells about someone being very intelligent. Triangle is seen as a very good sign from the wealth prospect, and triangle also just tells about good political acumen, someone who can do good in politics, whether on a community level or whether on a very big level. So this is the kind of significance which we give to a smaller triangles formed on the palm. But there is one more concept in palmistry, one more pattern which gets formed on the palm, which is known as the big triangle. So today we are going to discuss that. So like the way the triangle, the eligibility for a pattern to be called as triangle is that there needs to be 3 sides to it. So when it comes to looking at the 3 lines which forms this triangle, the first line is the lifeline, which tells about your health, vitality, stamina and the major events of your life. Second is your headline, which just tells about your intellectual capacities. And last, the third line which makes the big triangle is the line of health, line of Mercury or line of business. So this region which gets formed because of these 3 lines is known as the big triangle. And the important part about this triangle is that it gets formed on the plane of the Mars. And as you people know, see, when it comes to the inheritance, as we have discussed that in the last video on the bracelets, inheritance and the signs of legacy, you need to check the bracelet. And the mount of Venus also gives a lot of significance of the support which you get from your family, from your brothers, because mount of Venus represents your family, your brothers only. But when it comes to the plane of the Mars, this just tells about success attained by your own efforts. You have to understand that when it comes to Hindu palmistry, every mount on the palm has been allotted a certain region. This mount of Jupiter is seen as the Pitrasthan, place of your ancestors. This is the mount of Saturn, which is seen as your Matrasthan, place of your mother. This mount of Sun is known as the Vidyasthan, place of learning. This mount of Mercury is seen as the Jayasthan, place of titles and place of achievements. Mount of Venus is known as the Bhatristan, place of your brothers, of your family. Mount of Moon is seen as the Dharmasthan, place of the righteousness. But this is the plane of Mars, which is known as the Shatrusthan, place of enemy. Because for your livelihood, for your daily survival, struggle for your livelihood, you need to rise above the competition. All those challenges and obstacles which you face on your daily survival get seen from over this region. And whatsoever you attained, the kind of success you get, which remains to be based on your own self efforts, that all gets seen from the plane of the Mars. So this is the reason why this big triangle gets little bit of significance, because this portion just tells about success attained from your own efforts. So now, as we have discussed, that this triangle gets formed by these 3 lines. So any point of time when you will find this big triangle to be broad and made by 3 unafflicted lines. These 3 lines are in a good state and this portion is broad. This just tells about that the person would remain to be very broad-minded, person will have very liberal views, and person will have a very generous temperament. And any point of time you will find this to be narrow or made with afflicted lines are distorted. This would just tell about that the person will have a very narrow outlook towards life. And as this is the plane of the Mars, so any point of time, let's say for example in one hand you have found this big triangle to be formed on the skin, which is kind of puffed, risen. So and as it is the plane of the mount of the Mars as well, and this is just little bit reddish in color as well. So if it's present in one hand, this would just tell about someone being very kind hearted, someone would be like very intense in a positive way. But if you'll find this pattern to be present on both the hands, this would just make someone vulnerable towards impatience and would make that person little bit extravagant. And any point of time you'll find this triangle pattern getting formed little bit lower on the palm. This would just tell about little bit of that has been seen in people's hand, where this pattern gets formed little bit lower on the palm. That person gets little bit less chances of success in his life. And as you people know, when it comes to the business prospect, headline is very important. Same is the case with the line of Mercury. So if this triangle is formed by afflicted, weak and kind of distorted headline and the line of Mercury, and it is also narrow in shape, so this is not very good sign from the business perspective. So this is about a general introduction about the formation and the meaning of the big triangle which gets formed by the lifeline, headline and the line of health. Now comes the three angles, which is also very important for you people to understand. So the three angles which I am talking about is these three. So first remain to be this angle, second remains to be this angle which I am talking about, and third remains to be this angle which gets formed. So there are three angles which also hold a lot of significance. Any aberration, any variation is going to present different kind of signification, different kind of personality traits. So let's just take that one by one. Any point of time, let's say for example, you'll find this first angle. Any point of time you'll find this first angle to be well formed, pointed. So this would just tell about that the person will have all the good qualities of the triangle. Person would remain to be appreciator of good things in the life. Person will have a refined taste and person will be concerned with other people's need. Any point of time, let's say for example, you'll find this angle to be little bit obtuse. So right now it was pointed, well formed. Any point of time you'll find it obtuse in the way that, see, this is the angle. As you people know the basic science, this is 90 degree, this is acute, and this is way it is going obtuse, more than 90 degree. So any point of time, the eligibility for this angle to become obtuse is either the lifeline will get shrunk on the palm or this headline would start curving up towards the heart line. So the obtuse angle would just indicate that the person is not kind of appreciator of good things of the life, doesn't have a refined taste, and along with that if we just go more towards the heart line, so this might even make person ill-tempered, because what is going to happen is that in that case the more this headline would get towards the heart line, this would just narrow down the quadrangle as well. Not only this angle of the this angle is getting obtuse, but also the quadrangle is also becoming narrowed. So this would just indicate that the person will remain to be very ill-tempered. So this is with the first angle. And let's say for example, if we'll find these two lifeline and the headline to be joined till longer distance, so this would just tell about that the person would remain to be lacking little bit of the self-confidence and the socio-civic sense. So because if these two lines would remain to be joined till long, so the angle would become little bit blunt, and any point of time you'll just find there a little bit of gap in between the lifeline and the headline, then in that case the person would remain to be very independent and very go-getter. So this is with the first angle. Let's take the case of the second angle. Let's say for example, this is the second angle which I am talking about. So any point of time you'll find to be pointed, well formed. This would just tell about good intellect as well as good business skills, because this angle is being primarily formed by the headline which tells about intelligence, intellect, and second line is the line of Mercury, line of business, which tells about your business endeavors, about your business prospects. So the well pointed this angle would indicate towards that only. And like the way if this gets distorted, disformed, not only person's intellect would remain to be very much vulnerable towards ups and downs, not taking very wise and sane decision, but also this would not be seen as a good sign from the business perspective. And the third angle is which gets formed over here from the from the health line and the lifeline. So it has been generally believed that it's better that the line of health should start from little bit distance from the lifeline. So if this would remain to be the case that these two lines are joined, so this is not considered as very good. But let's say for example, if there remains to be little bit of gap over here, so this would just tell about a very generous nature. So any point of time in this third angle there remain to be little bit of gap and wide distance gap in between the line of health and the lifeline. This would just tell about someone having very generous temperament. So this is with the three angles of the big triangle. Next comes the spatial signs. So what would remain to be the case when you will find different kind of signs present on the inside the triangle, the big triangle. Just the monkey menace going on over here in my locality, and a group of monkeys have come. Not only I have to on daily basis struggle with the noises of dogs, cats, birds, but these days monkeys are also here. So yes, so first is, let's say for example, inside this triangle you'll find these kind of ascending lines on the lifeline. As you people know that ascending line is a time of optimism, time of achievement in any person's palm, where there are not too much of the crisscrossing lines present on the palm, and you have spotted these kind of ascending lines. This would just indicate some good event at that particular point of time. Though just because it's in the plane of the Mars, that success would come with little bit of struggle, but yes, you need to age the lifeline properly, and these ascending lines would indicate, you know, some good events happening at that particular point of time. Next is a symbol of cross. So this kind of cross, if you'll find over here, now you have to, you know, look at it very carefully. I'm not talking about a mystic cross. Mystic cross gets formed in between the heart line and the headline under the middle finger. Had it been formed over here, this would have indicated knowledge of occult. This is a mystic cross, but I'm talking about a cross which is below the headline, and inside the triangle. So cross over here inside the big triangle just tells about very irritable and very quarrelsome nature. And let's say for example, if you have spotted many cross over here inside the big triangle, so this would just indicate this is not a good sign. This would just tell about, you know, just because of person's quarrelsome nature, he has invited too much of the trouble in his life, that this would just make someone very much vulnerable towards litigation and too much of the, you know, litigation and, you know, trouble with the law. And what has been, you know, written in the scripture and what has been found true in many palmist research is that if this cross is formed over here, you know, close to the first angle and not touching any of the line, then this would just indicate that the person will win over all those litigations. But if any side of the cross symbol is touching the lines, then this would just indicate that the person will lose in his battle. This is a work of the research of the palmist. Next is, any point of time you will find the star formation. So we have discussed the cross. Now let's say for example, you'll find this kind of star formation. This kind of star formation. Star which just represents intensification of energy at particular point of time. So symbol of star is not considered very good. This would just again indicate the same thing. Person will get success, little bit of success after lots of struggle. So person will undergo too much of the struggle and then he will get little bit of the success. This is how this sign is treated as. And let's say for example, if you'll find this kind of pattern on the plane of the Mars inside the big triangle, and which is coming from a line inside the influence line or some chance line coming from the mount of the Venus. So this is also not considered as good. This would just indicate some kind of a negative happening of the event where his family member, this person's family members are involved. You need to age the lifeline and accordingly you will get to know the time. And let's say for example, if it is coming from the, you know, star kind of formation only and ending on a star formation inside the big triangle, this might even, what has been seen in the research and what has been mentioned by majority of the palmists is that this would just indicate loss of the life of some nearer and dearer one. So you have to check this sign very carefully. And next is net kind of grill kind of formation. As you people know, the archetype quality of the grill is confusion. It is considered as a negative sign wheresoever it is formed. Yes, 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 no, no, no. Grill means confusion. Grill is a negative sign. Any point of time you'll just find a grill kind of pattern inside the big triangle. This would just tell about, you know, hidden enemies and some kind of disgrace. So this is also not considered as a good sign. This is a very bad sign rather. Next is circle. Circle, what has been, written in the scriptures is that any point of time you'll find circle over here inside, the big triangle. This would just tell about some kind of threat from the opposite sex. So for a guy, this might indicate some kind of threat from a girl, or for a girl, this might indicate a threat from some opposite sex, from a boy. So circle is not considered a good sign. And let's say for example, along with a circle, you'll find the mount of the Luna to be prominent. So this would just indicate that someone who would have a very kind of fault finding nature, who has this attitude and nature of finding fault in everyone's work. So circle again is not considered a good sign. And as you people know, the signs of all these symbols and signs, they appear in a short notice to communicate something to you. Their appearance, mere appearance on the hand is a kind of indication of happening of certain event. So if you have found this kind of event, just remain watchful of opposite sex. So this is the circle kind of formation. Next is Square. Square is generally, square is a sign of protection if found anywhere on the palm, but majority of the palmists they have found in the research is that if this square formation get formed inside the triangle on the plane of the Mars, it just a news of some kind of unpleasing event. So inside the big triangle, square exceptionally has not been considered as good. Next is, for example, you will find a triangle kind of formation. So this kind of triangle formation inside the big triangle, somewhat over here, close to this first angle, has been generally seen in the hands of the senior military people, army people in older times. So this just indicate a strong Martian qualities in a positive way. Person can be good athlete, person could be good army general, and person can also be a good trainer. Person can be be possessing very good training skills. So this is how this triangle sign can be seen as. And next is a crescent moon. So any point of time you will find this kind of crescent moon, close, this kind of crescent style of moon close to the this. See, the definition is that if you'll find it close to the headline, this is not considered as good. It would just indicate that the person might even do something which is kind of little bit foolish, which is going to cost in his career. So the crescent kind of moon kind of formation inside the big triangle and close to the headline just indicate someone being vulnerable of acting stupid, foolish, which can cost him in his career. And let's say, for example, you have found this crescent moon close to the health line, then this is considered as good. If it gets spotted close to the line of health, then in that case it would just indicate happening of good events, but remain very watchful of where its closeness is. So this is with the crescent moon. Last in the discussion is the triangle of occult. So what do I mean by that? So any point of time, now what is going to happen is that you have to just kind of not consider the lifeline as one side of the triangle. So the triangle of occult gets formed by, this is your headline and this is your fate line. This is your fate line going towards your middle finger. So along with that, if you will find the line of intuition also present in your palm, so something like this. So this triangle which gets formed by the fate line, the headline and the line of intuition, this is known as the triangle of occult. This just tells about that the someone who will have good knowledge of meta sciences, good knowledge of the occult, and the person is going to use this knowledge for other person's good. So person is going to make good use and practical use of all that metaphysical knowledge. And this triangle can also get formed by the presence of line of Mercury as well. The only difference would come is that the lifeline would not be a part of that as one side of the triangle. So this is all what I wanted to say on the big triangle. I hope you guys found this video informational. For further more updates and notification on palmistry, please subscribe my channel and like my Facebook page. Thanks.